Most of us think compulsively all the time. That is to say, we talk to ourselves. If I talk all the time, I don't hear what anyone else has to say. If I think all the time, that is to say, if I talk to myself all the time, I don't have anything to think about except thoughts. And therefore, I'm living entirely in the world of symbols. Therefore, if you meditate for an ulterior motive, that is to say, to improve your mind, to improve your character, to be more efficient in life, you've got your eye on the future and you are not meditating. Well, meditation, when correctly done, has nothing to do with all that. It's a kind of digging the present. It's a kind of grooving with the eternal now. The place where it's at is simply here and now. If you simply close your eyes and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you, just listen to the general hum and buzz of the world as if you were listening to music. Don't try to identify the sounds you're hearing. Don't put names on them. Simply allow them to play with your eardrums. It's all just sound. And if I am talking to you right now and you're doing this, don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, thoughts, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on, just as you would be listening to the sound of my voice, or just as you would be listening to cars going by or to birds chattering outside the window. So look at your own thoughts as just noises. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together. They are a happening. Your thoughts are a happening, just like the sounds going on outside. And everything is simply a happening, and all you're doing is watching it. It's all just sound. The place where it's at is simply here and now.
What is up, guys? Evan Aldo here. Wanted to do an update for you guys, kind of a later, much later stream than I normally do. Kind of back in Miami, had a weekend trip up to Daytona, little family event. So took Monday off. Sorry, I was off. But yeah, and that's that. So let's see here. I mean, the main thing that we're looking at is you got some trigger. Oh, that's on ETH, excuse me. But you got some trigger waves and such to the downside. I think your main bullish case is going to be this 3-day right here. This is your main, kind of bullish case right here. Hidden bull div. Other than that, market is not too good. I mean, you got a red hike and ashy here. It just looks like you're going to repeat this pattern and potentially break down to that 52, 53 kind of area. Your daily looks pretty bad as well. And trigger wave to the downside in 12 hours. So overall, I would argue we are more on the bear side. We got a little jump up right here, but I wouldn't give too much credence to it. And what I was looking at just a second ago, you're hitting your first kind of SR point, all these wicks. Can you break above this? I mean, sure, anything's possible, but it looks like it's just going to be one of those, like there, you just keep coming down. So it doesn't look extremely promising, at least in my opinion, at least at, almost midnight tonight. What's up, Victor Lopez? Appreciate you, man. Not expecting too crazy of a turnout right now. Definitely going to be on tomorrow at some point, probably in the morning again. Not going to stay on, crazy amount right now. Just wanted to, kind of give you guys an update. Just set the laptop back up in the studio. So, yeah, and I mean, your larger time frames obviously still have a monthly, red dotted doom here. That one, September 23 was, I forgot we had that one, yeah. Nice buy signal. Nice buy signal there. I want to let me just look at the Bitcoin all-time history index here on the monthly. That was a good buy signal. Yeah, October 19, grand scheme of things, count pandemic, really good buy signal. So in my guess here, this could be, right when this confirms, probably would be a decent buy signal. I mean, that was the bottom kind of over there, August 2015. Kind of when this confirms. The thing is, if it's like that, hoping it's like that, where we could just really, come up into, I mean, probably not over 200K, but, just keep kind of, following this cycle. So, yeah. What's up, digital asset degen? So yeah, that's that. And if we look at Ethereum, a lot of the same. Ethereum is now bleeding, starting to bleed more against Bitcoin. It is kind of looking at, we'll look at that chart in just a second, but this doesn't look good by any means in this 2-day. And I mean, little freebie to let's see, we don't have too many people watching. Don't tell anybody I'm giving you this for free. This is top secret info. Not really, but, a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio down to here. You probably get a little bit more than that. I mean, I don't think that's too bad of a trade setup. Maybe be a little bit lenient with the stop loss, but I don't think that if ETH keeps doing what it's been doing here, I don't think that's too bad. And if we look at ETH versus Bitcoin quickly, guys, very quickly here, come on. Especially on that weekly, which is, if I do say so myself, rather atrocious. Well, I wouldn't say atrocious, but I mean, Yellow X, this one kind of was a, real tease, and he came back down. I would assume, right now, based on how things look, assuming the market keeps coming down, I don't think we're there yet to see that being a bottom potentially. I think we kind of will come down farther. ETH versus Bitcoin obviously has been a tricky one. I would assume you need one more Yellow X here, maybe come down to 0.04. I'd be pretty surprised if you come down below 0.04 or 0.039. I'd be pretty surprised. I think that would be the bottom for ETH, unless ETH really proves to us it's not what a lot of us think it is. I think when we do have this bull div here on the 2-week, that'll really give us what we need on the way up, and that would be if you get that confirming by sometime in June, that's really where that, June's that buy month, I think. June's really that buy month. Wait a few weeks, let's see what happens. Hopefully, what you're hoping for is if you stop DCAing in, if you haven't been buying lately, you're hoping for that drop down into June, which is what I'm kind of, hoping on. What's up, Bray? Holery? Appreciate you. So yeah, and if we look back at, Ethereum right now, what we were looking at, that not looking good. And if you break out of this range you've been in, easily coming down to 2,600, maybe a bit below that as well. Quickly before we get into some other cryptos, just wanted to look at traditional markets a little bit. I believe it's a decent fib level, right here in the 6 hour. If we wanted to, I just want to do a little. What else could we look at here? Volume profile or whatnot, just to see some more SR points. Okay, above that one. On the high side of 520 could be a big place to look at again if we could get another kind of leg up. It doesn't look extremely toppy, but I think you're kind of almost hitting your technical target out of this, range that we broke upward out of. She had a good recovery We'll see if she could keep that. I would assume she would come up a little bit more, but I do think you may get a trigger wave to the downside here that kind of ends the party. So yeah, and if we do look at, let's just look at the NASDAQ as well, which I believe is already hitting a pretty big point. Yeah, it's already hitting, I believe that's a big fib level. You know, trend reversal right there. I would assume when you do come down with the money flow trigger wave, unless you really, you know, run up to new all-time highs here, I kind of don't think that's too likely. You know, you would see that pullback. I mean, your main bull case is going to be on that like 3-day, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty bullish. But everything else would be, I would say kind of neutral at best on everything else. A lot of other things are a bit more on the bear side, especially if we look at, I believe, yeah, we get a nice monthly kind of bear div there. Now, these aren't always that bad, but they do generally give you some pullbacks. I mean, down to 16 something would make sense here. Maybe, hopefully a bit more, so we really, you know, wipe out the inflation and get those, you know, nice, you know, pivots, nice rate cuts, you know, into the summer, potentially into maybe July, the first one, maybe even June. Who knows? It would be a little, we'd really have to nuke, I think, to get it in June, but the next few weeks, but, you know, anything is possible here. Solana getting a bit more bearish as we're dropping down. Now you do have a double kind of top area here. If you do break down from that, you're looking at maybe, I mean, let's just look at a technical target. You know, you're playing ping pong here. If you break down from this kind of range, that's your 102. If you get down to 102, I think that's a, you know, that's a good correction. That's a good place to get in. A lot of people are bullish on Solana. I am too, to a certain extent. You know, it is a large market cap at this point. There's only so much you're going to get, but a 50% correction for something like this generally would be good in the grand scheme of things. You know, where the hell could this end up? You know, where could be a peak for this? You know, you get that, maybe that 50% correction or something around 100, let's say. In 8x, I think that's a little bit too optimistic into, you know, into the end of, you know, 2025, into the next year or two, year and a half. A 5x potentially, you know, 5x potentially, 3 to 5x, I would guess from there is absolutely possible. Already a $60 billion market cap though, so let's not get too overly optimistic on it, but 3 to 6x is definitely possible. Matic, you know, that's one I think that has more potential than Solana for pretty obvious reasons. One being the market cap is about a tenth of the size. You know, trigger wave forming here in the weekly. This one's been a little bit odd, I would say, lately. I want to look at Matic Bitcoin, which is one of them, just because it bled so ferociously against Bitcoin that it potentially could have bottomed out already against Bitcoin. But sometimes they have no mercy. You know, sometimes they don't have the mercy we'd hope for. Maybe we got to wait for that anchor wave there in the 2-week. I don't think you'd come all the way down to these wicks over here, but you absolutely could. So be careful, guys. You know, I think it's kind of a wait and see for the next month to a month and a half, kind of until the, you know, middle of June. So yeah, and you know, Jupiter, there's a few of these that are kind of, you know, they're potentially good gambles with the double bottom W pattern thing potentially breaking upward, but that's to be seen. That's absolutely to be seen. That daily looks pretty atrocious. If I had to guess, we could break down lower. So definitely got to be careful here. I wanted to look at ApeCoin. On Coinbase here, and let's just see here. Just see. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this looks better than a lot of other things. You know, you saw the Mutant Ape Club kind of jumping up a bit here. And I want to look at, let's just look at, I believe it's on Brave, yeah. NFT floor prices. They've been decent. You know, they've been, I thought it was a little bit higher on OpenSea. Let's actually look at that OpenSea here. Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Okay, 306. I thought it was up a little bit more, but you know, I mean, holding 3, you know, 3 ETH, not the worst look. So yeah, futures down slightly, funding rates slightly positive. You know, I guess that would say the case to more people are opening longs. Let's chase those longs out and let's dump this market, hopefully. Well, depending. But yeah, and then by the way, guys, if you want one free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord, link down below. If you sign up to any of the links down below for the exchanges, deposit at least $100 and open support ticket in the Discord under the support ticket area. I'll give you one free month. Really good community, a lot of really, really, really good trade setups. Been doing really well lately, so as usual. Don't want to toot my own horn, but yeah. And might get stopped out in profit on ETH relatively soon. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely have to see what happens. It does look so bearish on ETH right now. Let's look at one of the old fan favorites, Cardano. Kind of hope this really doesn't become a XRP, just the most boring thing, or a Litecoin, but who knows? I mean, you're losing kind of that level right there. I would kind of guess you're on some thin ice here. I would guess you would follow the market downward probably. If you break downward from this head and shoulders, I guess. I mean, it's not my favorite pattern, but you're looking at 30 something cents here. So yeah. And then Cardano Bitcoin is the big one that we want to, kind of focus on here. And let's take a look, see. Yeah, I mean, big point. Let's see if we could hold it. Tough to say here. I mean, it looks damn good on the weekly. Right to that point. Curious about like something like, XRP Bitcoin, which I've obviously looked at a lot in the past, but yeah, generally just comes down. But you do have, oh my God, that was just out of nowhere, 2017 there. I mean, this bull run, nada really. I mean, a little bit if you sold at the top in May, but that probably was, what, 100%? Okay, 400%, okay. But yeah, Ghost. I think that's Ghost, right? GS. I think I've heard of this. Yeah, it's a new one. I think I've heard of it. Kind of at the scene of the crime, maybe expecting you to go a little bit lower. It could bounce here. It's very hard to say, man. Maybe that trigger wave could give you what you need on the 5-day. I'd probably want to wait for that. Let's look at the ES a little bit, because I know, markets were down. Traditional markets, at least, they were down after hours. Important place to hold. I just want to see if we're retracing to any. So I guess I would be bullish for if we hold, the 618. I kind of think he got a little bit more, at least a little bit more for the SPY. I don't know about the NASDAQ. Yeah, based on that trigger, that looks good. But everything else is like neutral. Kind of neutral at best, I would say. So yeah, I don't know. PLTR. Oh, is this? Are you talking about? Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, I'm familiar with this one. Yeah. I mean, that weekly looks decent. I mean, if you could break above where you are, which it looks like you might, if you follow this trajectory you're looking, the big place would be around $30. As far as I know, it's a decent company. Little concerning with this drop down on the 3-day. Just drop down in general, daily trigger wave to the downside. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I mean, if you break down from this range, you're looking at probably honestly back down to like $16 or something. But if you break up, you're easily looking at 30 at least, I would say. This one's a little tough to say. I mean, if you follow the trend, you'd be looking at 30 true right there. I don't know. A little bit conflicting. I don't know. Kind of tough to say. How about, I don't know why, but I want to look at like Upwork. Is that like done? Yeah, that went crazy during like 2021, COVID, all that, and then nice bubble pop. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, trigger wave right there. This could, I mean, some of these could come back. I wanted to look at, what was it, Lucid here. Yeah, right there. Two, three, four. Those look decent. I mean, it could be. I mean, it's catching falling knives, but it does look kind of decent there. So let's look at the big boy, Tesla. So definitely with that 2 week, if you could confirm that in 9 days, that's a good sign there. That's a really good sign. Not a bull div, but kind of a trigger wave to that anchor wave. And then that would, coincide with the monthly. I'm not saying it can't go down lower, but it would definitely be a good sign. I mean, if you zoom in here, it looks a little bit concerning because you're like rejecting from that point, trigger wave to the downside. So we definitely got to see here, but yeah. Neo I know of, yeah, that's down so much. I remember somebody was, I think this Uber driver I had was telling me back in freaking, when was he telling me? Probably like, yeah, like around here that it was never going below like $5, never going back to $4 to $3. And I told him it would probably go back to that area. So I was right on that. I also told him crypto would probably come back, at some point. He said crypto was bad because Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett said it was bad. And yeah. But I mean, that monthly I think would be kind of a no-brainer to get in if you could see that monthly. And yeah, you got it on the 3 week. I think it's a good gamble, a really good gamble. I kind of like how this looks a little bit better than Lucid, like that nice kind of bubble pop pattern there. And I mean, if you can repeat, something of this nature, the sky's the limit here. So, it absolutely could come more. I mean, it would be kind of unlikely, to see it do a 14x that quickly, but $100 billion market cap at some point, yeah, I think there's a good shot there eventually. Yeah, that's like the wild thing here. Like, I mean, it's like, if you get a 10x with this, if you get back up to all-time highs, I mean, that could be life-changing wealth if you were to put, I know you'd have to put 100 grand in. I'm not saying to do that, but I mean, that was like Warren Buffett. I think how he first became like a millionaire, or at least a millionaire in today's money. He put a lot of it, percentage of his net worth in like one thing. I think it was Geico or something like that, insurance, and he did it. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that could be that one gamble. If you get that 10x, you know what I mean? Even if you just put 10 grand in, I'm not saying to do that, but I don't know. It could go bankrupt for all I know, but 10 grand, go up 10x, 100 grand or whatever. But yeah, I wanted to look at, yeah, it's a thing, David. I don't know anything about this company. I know it had good fundamentals, at least at one point, but I don't know. I could say the same thing I would say about Rivian or Lucid. I know this one's the Chinese one, so I mean, I don't know. Some people would probably think that gives it a better chance. Some people would probably think that gives it a worse chance. I mean, pick your poison. I would have to read about it and research it. What was I going to look at? Oh, yeah. Let's just look at total 3 minus tether here. Which, I would argue these still look like they need to come home, come down a bit more. I mean, somewhere in that pocket, I would assume. Hmm. Yeah, I would assume to that point. I mean, another 20% down for a lot of alts. You know, I would assume 20 or 30% down. I mean, I just want to see, like, what would that be for, I don't know, something, for example, like 30% down for, you know, let's just say Cardano, I guess. You know, what would that be? You know, where would be 20 or 30% down? Okay, 20 would be 35, 30. Probably for Cardano, I don't think he would go down to full 30. He could, but maybe just 20 here, something like that. I think Solana would be more of an interesting one to look at for that, 20 to 30% down from where we are right now. That would make a lot of sense, that 30%. Bitcoin downside targets, I don't know, mid to high 40s, low 50s. Well, your crypto portfolio will get you a girlfriend. I mean, it depends how you use that. It depends how you spend that money. It depends what you do with that money. You know, it really depends on a lot of factors there. Depends. Depends what you use that money for. Depends where you are in the world. Depends how much the people around you care about crypto. You know, a lot of factors on that. This, I think, still, like, a lot of these ETH pairs still look decent here. Just curious about, like, Cardano ETH, because that was looking decent the other day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a decent shot of bottoming out against ETH here, but who knows? Let's see. Appreciate you. Yeah, special likes, guys. And if you want to check out the Discord, link down below if you want one free month. If you sign up to any of the links down below for the exchanges, deposit at least $100. We'll give you one free month in Discord. Just open a support ticket with your UID in there. So yeah. Curious about like Matic ETH here. See. Yeah, I don't even, we're not really hitting anything like that. I feel like you gotta come up a little bit more at least here. Oh, that's interesting because you're hitting that point there. Yeah, it is a significant point on the volume. So I guess it could, based on that, we could see a pullback here. You know, I mean, I think it would be smart to draw that one out. Anyway, guys, probably going to wrap it up in a minute. Just not too much else to really talk about right now. Also a little tired. I get to bed. Good amount of driving today. NVIDIA reapproaching all-time highs. Up to 970. I mean, can you ever run up to, I don't know, 1,000 maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I think that like daily in that 20-hour trigger wave will get you what you need for the downside. Unless we could break higher. I mean, who the hell knows? This thing only goes up. I mean, your technical target might be around 1,100, but I would assume 1,000 would probably give you some trouble. I mean, $2 trillion market cap, one of the biggest companies in the world. So yeah. that's a big point right there. Volume. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, the hairline there. Yeah, anyway, guys. I mean, oil, yeah, this is a metric that would tell you inflation is generally coming down. Oil potentially coming down to this level. I think you would end up at 64 again on USO. Let's just look at TLT, which I think is still doing generally, yeah. This, I think, will come up a bit. I'm trying to think the kind of the inverse of the 30-year treasury. Yeah, this one. This is where we get more. Yeah, this is where we get a little bit more bearish, I think, especially once we get that weekly, yeah. Money flow questionable, but you know, I think we're getting there. You know what I mean? I think we're getting there. Wanted to look at Bitcoin dominance here. Tough to say with this. I mean, I would argue a bit more bearish, but keep in mind, guys, if this does, come down, that doesn't mean the market has to, come up. That don't mean the market necessarily has to come up. I would argue more bearish. We'll see what happens if we can confirm 18. A lot could happen in 18 days before, some of these confirm. So we definitely got to see here. A lot could happen in 23 days. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get going. Check out the Discord down below. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Always appreciate you guys. Have a good one.